Dig it.
The following program is pretty hot and heavy with issues. As it stands, Razor TV cannot be held responsible for a heightened sense of arousal on your part. Viewer discretion is advised.
This week on the bonus stage,
is sex in video games too hot to handle? Join us in the discussion.
after the break, we take a look at our most anticipated software of 09, Windows 7.
And finally, we see what's new with Sony Ericsson.
You reached the bonus stage.
Now let's get it all in perspective for all y'all enjoy.
Bonus stage! Well, we haven't been live in the studio in a long time.
A long while, dude.
Yeah, it's a long while, dude.
But, you know, Leisure Suit Larry brings back a lot of memories. It's a very happy little game.
Yes. I remember playing it a long time ago, like hiding away from my parents, going, I hope they don't see me play this game.
And you think about it, it's like, come on, it's just pixels, man.
Yeah.
It's like colored pixels.
Back in the day, that was cutting edge.
But
that
you
was
feel like very
cutting
guilty,
edge.
you know, you feel very guilty, like, oh, I actually played Leisure Suit Larry today. Oh my gosh, I am going to...
You go to primary school, you always hear one guy who played part 2 and you're like, wow, this guy,
how am I
this
gonna
rich
get
guy.
it? I need to get it on my diskette.
This rich guy went to get all the games, like all 5 copies of the disc. Okay, anyway, now we're talking about like sex in games actually today.
That's right.
And the earliest instance of sex in video games can be traced back to the Atari 2600 gaming console.
Wow, that's like damn long ago,
that
man.
hit homes like in 1977. Now games like Custer's Revenge, Beat 'em and Eat 'em, and Bachelor Party saw small pixelated renditions of the naked human body, often female, partaking in very questionable acts. Now even though these sprites were a far cry from looking like the real thing, the suggestive context was good enough to spark controversy.
One of the most well-known characters in the adult-themed game genre is, of course, Larry Laffer from the Leisure Suit Larry series for the PC. Mm-hmm. The series saw 8 outings, with the most recent scheduled to come out this year. Leisure Suit Larry box office bust. However, unlike the previous games, this game will not contain any nudity.
Interesting.
The game has opted for a Hollywood cast of voice actors and focusing on a good narrative instead.
Yep, in 2007, sci-fi role-playing game Mass Effect for the Xbox 360 even saw a temporary ban in Singapore for its arguable lesbian love scene. I will explain why it's arguable. The Singaporean Xbox gamers spoke up, and justice and fairness prevailed as the ban was lifted a few days later, albeit with a M18 label, and that was the first game to be given a rating in Singapore. That took place actually months earlier than it was proposed, just for this game actually.
Okay. And violence in games is pretty much the standard, but sex in video games has seen a decline. So, is it really necessary? Let us discuss.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at that video just now, right? The reason why Mass Effect was arguable lesbian love scene because the blue character that you saw partaking in that love scene, she's actually sexless. She doesn't have any gender.
Okay.
She comes from a alien race of female-looking aliens. Basically, they all look like that. They don't have male or female.
It is in no relation to the current trend of androgynous models that we see plastered on our billboards every day.
Yeah.
Okay,
course,
so
So that's why it's arguable lesbian love. So basically, the Singapore censorship was like, you know what? It's not really a lesbian love scene actually. So,
because she's an alien.
She's an alien, so it's an alien love scene. I don't know why that is better actually.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna hit up with our first argument.
I got my notes here.
So realism in games. Okay, unlike violence, sex is a perfectly natural act that is accepted in everyday life.
Yeah.
Whereas violence, if you do violence to people, it's a bad thing. But whereas sex is okay, it's realistic, so it should be in the games. What do you say?
Yep, I think I do agree. Sex is socially accepted and it is a normality of life. Being a purist gamer, I feel like games are all about escapism and living a life that you cannot attain.
Purist gamer.
Yeah, purist gamer. So I want to live in the game as someone that I live a life that I can attain in the game, which I cannot really easily attain outside. But you see, I think sex is very attainable in real life. No matter where you're from. Dude, no matter where you're from.
Okay.
And I will explain, no matter where you're from, who you are, what...
Follow us in this discussion.
Religion, race, creed, culture you're from, I mean, obviously, we don't condone premarital sex or anything like that, but I mean, sex is attainable in life. While not everyone can be Rambo and go about shooting everybody like in the games, you see. So sex can be attained, but in real life, but you cannot be like Rambo in real life and start killing everybody. And if you don't think you can attain sex easily in life, do check out Point Blank. And we have a pickup artist story which ran like 3 episodes, and I think the 4th one to end next week. Well, in the 3 episodes, you can learn how to pick up girls. So
That's true.
You can attain.
There should be a Point Blank on how girls can pick up guys.
Girls don't need to pick up guys, but they just show up at the venue.
They just go to any ladies' night, like, oh, hi.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'll go with you.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
sex in games to carry on a narrative. Okay, remember that some time ago in this 1995, there was this game called Phantasmagoria. It was produced by designer Roberta Williams. Very nice. It was massive amounts of video, script over 550 pages long, 100 pages of storyboards, and extraordinary, groundbreaking gore, terror, and even a very controversial
it was like
sex scene.
Hitchcock's Psycho for the game.
So imagine you're the protagonist of this game. You're this woman, and then your husband turns a bit psycho on you, and then you're like running away, and it's all in the atmosphere. And one part of the game, your husband comes in and rapes you, and this is a very sort of vital plot device because it adds to the atmosphere. You're like, you're victimized, and I think that held like a very important part of that game. Yeah. So as a narrative, that was quite important.
Even back in the day, right?
Yeah, even back in the day.
Okay, I do agree with you. Okay, sex to carry on a narrative is always good. I mean, games, I believe, is becoming an art form if it isn't already. And sometimes, such as Phantasmagoria, rape can be a powerful plot device if handled tastefully.
Yeah, no, but okay, to add to my point, sometimes it's not even like the act of rape, but it's part of life. So like let's say for Metal Gear Solid, there was this
4
4. So Hal Emmerich, he was the sidekick for Otacon. He was the sidekick for Snake.
Yep.
And then what happens was that he had this encounter with Dr. Naomi Hunter, and then she, in the end, she had this very sweet, poignant love scene with him.
Yep.
So that sort of carried the device,
Okay, what we're seeing right now is actually isn't Metal Gear Solid. This is actually from like
quite clearly not Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid. This is actually the hot coffee mod for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which actually got them in trouble because the developers actually sort of like left this coding inside, but the public, this one, I think it was a Swedish hacker, I can't remember where he was from, but it's in Europe basically, and he hacked the game, and this is actually inside the game, so that's where sex in games can cause a little bit of controversy. Yeah. And you can't really see it, obviously, because, we censored it a little bit for you. If you want, you can always go to YouTube and check it out.
That's right. I think, like, one of the things about this hot coffee mod was that I think a lot of people argued that it was already in-game,
Yeah, exactly. It's already in the game.
Yeah,
so,
it's already in-game. But, I mean, on the developer...
But we're not arguing whether developers were responsible. We're just arguing whether sex in games is good or not.
But let's say they have the sex in games, but they leave it outside game, Yeah, so I guess for the inquisitive...
Okay, wow. I believe that... like you were talking about Phantasmagoria and rape and all stuff, like being... If it's okay, rape in the game, obviously rape isn't good, but I mean rape in the game to propel a story, the narrative.
Yeah.
If handled tastefully, that's fine. However, I don't believe gratuitous shots of naked women for nudity's sake is... I believe that is really wrong. Like games like Rumble Roses or Dead Alive Beach Volleyball for like the Xbox one, where these girls are just like scantily clad and bouncing up and down. And the game was really bad. It was just, why would you want to buy $70 on a game where you see digital representation of hot girls? Like, watch Baywatch. I don't know, go watch Baywatch.
Baywatch, right. Yeah, but I think one thing is that another point can be argued, like, if, like, let's say GTA 4, like what we were looking at just now, everything was included, vulgarities, extreme violence, so why not sex? You know, because it's part of like the whole game world.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, look at it this way. I mean, in terms of a good narrative, I don't think you should need. There's a need to see the physical act of sex in games as like a visual representation of like love and affection and stuff like that. There's always other ways to portray love and affection. You don't have to see sex, you know. And to answer you, like I mean, like the internet, you never know when a person's real age can be. Like, you know, some YouTube clips, you know, you can just confirm your birthday and you can watch all these really like saucy clips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the same for the games also. Like any kid can just buy these games and without their parents knowing, and they'll be be exposed to this questionable content.
Yeah, and I think in more so like some like community-driven games like Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
You know, and like there was this one instance where they somebody modded this very family-oriented game, and it had this like crude like sexual device in it.
Yep.
So wherever you go, people just want to pollute, pollute the whole game world and all that. So I don't think you can escape it, especially if you do it community-driven also, you know?
That's right. I mean, kids will always feel the need to experiment, especially when they're young and impressionable, and, you know, it sort of like sex in games perpetuates like underage sex, you know, teen STDs and pregnancies and whatnot. So, I don't know, I believe sex in games is sexist, it objectifies women. Most gamers are guys, and more often than not, all the girls depicted in the games, they have out-of-this-world bodies,
attributes,
proportion, and attributes, of course, and you know, it might teach the younger kids to have like a warped perception of what girls should be. So they may already be socially inept and like worshipping these bosomy babes and not really speaking to real life women will make them even more socially inept.
And for me, I just think that, you know, like sex is just like very normal. So let's not demonize normalcy, especially in games. You know, it should just be carried on and all that. But okay. We just want to share some of our thoughts with you, and we have to go for a short break, and we want to share with you our app of the week. That's right.
So what's so great about 3G? It's what helps you get the news really fast, find your way really fast, and download pretty much anything really fast. The new iPhone 3G.
The Straits Times launched a new iPhone iTouch application last week, and it is our app of the week. The app allows mobile readers to access all the latest breaking news stories as they are published on the free straitstimes.com website. This is through a free download available via Apple's iTunes program. After being listed in the Singapore App Store over the weekend, the ST iPhone application is already top. Overall, it's taken pole position as top free application. Why is it our top app? Because it rules hard.